People sometimes say that film is a visual medium, but in fact, it really doesn't function without sound.
Sound, I think, is tremendously important to the success of a film. I think that a great deal of how an audience experiences a film is through sound.
The challenging thing about the animated film is that you have to entirely invent the world. I had to fabricate more new sounds for The Incredibles than any other film I've ever worked on. I was amazed at the number of gadgets and devices and processes and vehicles in this movie. One of the key scenes in the movie involves these velocipods chasing Dash. None of us knew exactly what the velocipods were going to sound like, but we knew that they had to sound dangerous because that scene doesn't work unless we think that those things are about to chew him up and spit him out any second. The visual design of the velocipods is such that it almost looks like they have knives spinning around them. So I took that metaphor and ran with it a little bit, and we recorded knives being sharpened and sharp pieces of metal rubbing against each other. And one of the key elements, it turns out, in the velocipods is exactly that. It's a modified version of knives being sharpened. Foley is one of the ways that you can make sounds for movies, and it involves performers who are essentially like dancers, watching the action on the screen, walking in sync with the actors on the screen, or manipulating objects to make the sounds for the scene. Foley performers get very good at being creative with props. Maybe using a slightly larger prop or a more interesting sounding prop than the one that you see on the screen, but in the end the sound is more interesting or enticing or useful.
Must be Mr. Sinclair.
How close was that overall?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good, didn't you think?
Yeah.
And the thing is I don't want to lose any impact, but I kind of feel like we're losing impact because everything's up.
Right.
You know.
The cliche is that sound sneaks in the side door to the brain, meaning that you don't really notice how it's affecting you. It's almost always the way you want it to be, because once the audience starts consciously thinking about, oh, well, that's a cool sound or that's a powerful sound, in a way you've lost them from the story of the movie. So the trick is to make the sounds useful to the scene, but not make them so attention-getting that they snap you out of the dream of the movie.